Do demands change each year?
Yeah, domestic demand obviously has changed a lot this year because it's obviously a lot easier to fly domestically in this country than it is internationally. And that plays out just due to the lack of capacity in the international space. So more customers are travelling domestically than ever before.
China is set to open its international borders. How's this going to impact Australian travellers?
This is fantastic, Gab. This would have to be the best news the travel industry's had in the last 3 years. The Chinese carriers represent about 20% of the capacity that flies in and out of Australia, and they carry about double that in terms of freight. So we need the Chinese the Chinese borders to open and start flying back into Australia, because that will put pressure on the pricings that are currently sitting in the market with legacy carriers at the moment, because they'll be flying empty aircraft into the country. It also puts pressure on freight. So what happened over COVID is a lot of airlines where you had border restrictions and you couldn't fly passengers, they converted a lot of their aircraft into freighter aircraft. And their airlines are making quite a bit of money now moving freight around the world. So this will put pressure on carriers to move those aircraft from freighters and put them back into passenger. And we all know that when there's a balance between supply and demand, prices come down. So it'll be a really good thing for consumers to have Chinese carriers flying back into the country. And we're very, very excited about that.
Well, that is certainly good news. Do you think there'll be a high demand in terms of Australians wanting to fly over to visit China, or do you think there'll be, I suppose, a bit of resistance?
I think there'll be some apprehension to start with until some of the border restrictions and to get a little bit of comfort back in that things aren't going to be shut down again. But like in terms of long haul travel, customers travelling overseas to visit family and relatives, the demand for the Chinese carriers on through connections will definitely be there.
Greg Parker, thanks so much for your time.
No worries. Thanks, Gab.